Jack Ross is the President and Chief Operating Officer for Dominion Enterprises. He has worked for the company for over 20 years, starting as an advertising salesperson and then holding other positions such as Vice President and General Manager for Rent Magazine, where he led the largest acquisition in the company's history. Vice President and General Manager of the Employment Guide, where he created the first nationwide brand for print classified employment listings covering local markets. Mr. Ross is involved in various civic endeavors in Hampton Roads, including serving as Secretary for the Greater Norfolk Corporation Board. He's also an active graduate of Old Dominion University, serving on the Board of Trustees for the university's Educational Foundation. Mr. Ross will now provide the commencement address.
Thank you, President Broderick, faculty, and staff. Class of 2012, congratulations. You did it. This message is most importantly for the graduates, but also parents, family members, and faculty with whom, without your support, these graduates might not be here.
Woo!
You did it. These are words of pride and celebration. I am a college graduate. You'll be able to say that the rest of your lives. It cannot be annulled, repossessed, or discounted. Many of you may be the first ones in your family to graduate from college. Just by show of hand, how many is that the case for? How about that? Regardless, you have all accomplished something very special. In fact, less than 3 out of 10 Americans are college graduates, and only 6% of the world's population. As such, you will earn twice as much as non-graduates, you'll be less likely to commit crime, you'll have healthier families, travel more, and stronger relationships. When President Broderick first asked me to be the commencement speaker, I thought it was a practical joke. In fact, I asked him if they had a mid-March graduation for under 100 telecommuters. And he said, "No, Jack, really, the May graduation." And I thought about it for a minute. You had Bill Cosby, Chris Matthews, Jack Ross. This is a sign of budget cuts. I'm not famous, but you have me for a few minutes, and I would like to share some wisdom and hopefully some inspiration. I grew up in Norfolk, raised by a single mom who worked 60 hours a week when she could find work at a fast food restaurant. She never finished high school. We didn't have a phone until I was in 9th grade or a car until I graduated high school. We lived in low-income apartments, and I started working 20 hours a week when I was 14, 25 hours a week as a 15-year-old. I was a Boy Scout, the first Eagle Scout in my troop. I played high school baseball and football. I was a good student, but not a great one. My ambition exceeded my intellect. I only applied for one college, Old Dominion, as I needed to stay home and help my mother, and going away to school was certainly not an option. I majored in business and worked while in college. I sold advertising for the Mason Crown, which I guess is still the school newspaper, but they still have a print edition. I coached high school football each fall, and I worked 5 nights a week, 6 to midnight at a grocery store all through college, and I was a full-time student. I must say I had fun, I laughed often, and attended my fair share of midnight madness frat parties. One of the advantages of getting off at midnight is I was right on time. After graduating, I recall my fair share of interviews at unknown companies at small business parks. Unemployment in 1984 was 8%. Sounds familiar. I really wanted to sell advertising at our local newspaper, the Virginia Pilot, but didn't quite have the level of experience they expected. So I got a commission-only sales job selling software and supplies, and finally landed that job I wanted at the Pilot. I excelled as a sales rep, known for taking tough territories and new ones. I got my first management job 4 years later, and as President Broderick noted, after a variety of positions throughout my career, I became the president of Dominion Enterprises and Landmark Media 3 years ago. We're a $1 billion company with 5,000 employees, and 24 years ago I was seated where you are. I know something about hard work, enjoying life, and being driven. I love axioms, sayings that teach and inspire, and I have a few that I've lived by that I'd like to share with you today. Number one, smooth seas never made skillful sailors. Safety does not breed excellence. Overcoming obstacles builds confidence and capability. For example, an emergency room doctor in a rough part of the city has certainly experienced and learned more than one in a small rural community. In fact, wartime military doctors get a lifetime of experience in a few years because of the horrible emergencies they deal with every day. Take risks. Take the tough territory, the challenging department, the road less traveled. Regarding your first job, worry less about how much you'll make and how much you'll learn and how much support you'll get. Be willing to move. Stretch yourself. A little pain leads to a lot of gain. Early in my career, I was asked to move to Washington, D.C. to take over a problematic operation, and that move did a lot to expand my career and strengthen my reputation. Number two, tough times don't last, tough people do. When you make a commitment, keep it. See it through. You can handle almost anything for a year. Don't be a job hopper or a quitter. How much stick-to-itiveness do you have? The difference between you all today graduating from college and many dropouts is a little more perseverance and determination, not knowledge and ability. Surviving and thriving is an attitude and a skill. This may sound like a cliche, but attitude is a critical success in what you will achieve in your life. It is more important than your past, what you have, and what you look like. It will determine your outcome, and you can manage your attitude. It can be your greatest asset or your biggest liability. I'll give you a quick story somebody shared with me that I thought was a great example of this. There's a president of a small shoe company, and he decides he wants to expand internationally. So he takes his two top salespeople and says, listen, I want you to go to New Zealand. One's going to go to the eastern part of the rural country. The other's going to go to the western part of the rural country. The first sales rep comes back and says, boss, I've got bad news. There's no potential. No one wears shoes. The second sales rep comes back and says, boss, I've got great news. No one wears shoes. You get the point. A lot of it's how you look at it and what you make of it. Number three, you can't put in what God left out. Take the time to learn what's the right environment for you. If you're not competitive, some careers may not suit you. I mentioned that I majored in business with a focus in marketing. By the way, marketing really means you've got to sell something. And I had to discover that sales was a good fit for me. You've just spent 4 to 5 years, $60,000 to $100,000 on your education. Take some time to learn what behavioral tendencies you have. A personality profile is a good start. Number four, most successful people do not have a long-term career plan. The notion that every successful person started out with a goal to become the vice president, director, or run a company is a huge myth. The best way to get your next job is to take care of your current job. Look ahead, be ambitious, but don't get too far ahead of yourself. Success is a journey, not a destination. And my last and final comment is, we come into this world with nothing and we leave with our reputation. Protect and enhance your reputation. It really is all you have and all you are. Loyalty, honesty, ethics, integrity, sense of service, caring for others, giving back. These things stand the test of time. Faith, family, and friends help you through tough periods, and those experiences shape your character. Take your job seriously, but not yourselves. Being humble is an important attribute. People support and follow others that share the values that they want to be like. I hope each of you has a life filled with success, happiness, contentment, and rich experiences. A lot of that will depend on the choices you've made and you continue to make in your attitude towards life. Today marks a wonderful choice that you've made and a sign of the completion and success going forward. Congratulations, class of 2012.